What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our Mythic Plus adventures on the channel. Today we have a 13 Darkflame Cleft that I just kind of hopped in and did with my rogue friend here. We actually end up doing pretty well in this key. A lot of stuff actually goes wrong, but this timer should be pretty free, honestly, for the most part. So I'm going in, trying to get a little bit of threat on these mobs, making sure that I have Incarn running so that I'm able to consistently heal myself if I need to. Warrior actually steps out here, and I Ursul's a little bit late just because I don't want to Ursul's too early, and our rogue actually goes down here too very, very early in the pull. Not really sure what happened to him there, but we pop everything, plop Lust, get everything nice in line of sight around this corner, and I still have Ursul's for the next Overseer smack. So I'm kind of just holding for this, put down the Ursul's when I see that circle. Everything gets sucked back in, and this should be a pretty free pull, even though we are lacking a ton of damage coming from the rogue's side of things. So this should go down pretty easily. I did also show the route earlier in the video that we're going to be trying to stick to. I think a couple extra things get pulled, and this is not a flawless key by any means, but we still time it, still time the 13, which is, pretty good. So we're well on our way to 3K. I see that pack mole in the back there, and I'm just like, yeah, he'll die. So that's okay. Moving right along, we'll get these laborers off the top, and the pat right here that I want to pull is actually in a really bad spot. So I just figure, we'll pull everything else, get the wicker lighter, and maybe even get these guys kind of low before everything comes in. Pop in a nice frenzy regen and a bark skin to make sure that I stay alive, and then we'll taunt over this overseer, get a moonfire on him, and go from here. So I have Ursul's in about 2 seconds, so that first smackdown that is going to come in from that Overseer, I'll be able to... so I put that down early. I think you have just under... you can't Ursul's every single one unless you do it a little bit early, from what I've experienced. So I try and do it early, anticipating that Overseer's smack, and I'm able to suck everything back in, keep everything nice and stacked, and then... I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to just get towards the wall or bring things away from this wall up, and I end up actually bringing things in a worse spot for it. So we send that mole herd off into Narnia, and he's going to pull these wicker lighters that we wanted to skip regardless. So we double kick the first one. I try and incap roar the second one, and this is just going to get a little bit messy here. It is what it is. But the Overseer dies, so we're not going to have any more smacks. It is what it is. Things go wrong in keys like this, especially in this little hallway. This hallway is super treacherous, I feel like. So we're just going to keep on persisting, keep doing a good amount of damage, and we should be still good to time this key. So moving right along, we're going to go along this left-hand side here. I'm pretty sure we still are going to do this Overseer, but we don't need that extra mole herd just because we have already... done those wicker lighters. We should be ahead on count for this entire dungeon. So this is not going to be a super efficient pull, but we're not going to have to worry about the Overseer walloping 50 things. I don't know why we knock the mole herd out of my Ursul's, because then he just gets knocked over to this wall over here. So there were a couple weird knocks that were happening prior to what we wanted to actually happen. So if you knock things, it gets pulled by Ursul's. It can't get pulled again. So be careful if you're doing that. If this was a coordinated group, that wouldn't have happened. But we get a nice wild wallop here, finish this guy off, and we're going to the first boss. It's only been a few minutes, 30% count, and hopefully we can get this boss down. Spoilers, we actually do. I get absolutely trucked there. I'm not really sure what happens through Incarn too. So that was a little bit of a close call. Didn't have renewal there. So that could have been a little bit scary. But I'll just go ahead and drag this boss over to the minecart, make sure that we can get damage on that. That is focus target, 100%. You will literally die if you don't hit this. So if you haven't done this dungeon before somehow, and you're watching this too, make sure that you kill that. That is 100% needs to die instantly. This boss also feels a little bit weird to tank. I know... there's probably a better way to do this than I've been doing, but I just try and tank him close to the tracks so that people can kind of position the kobolds that are hitting them around these tracks, so that when the minecarts come through, some of the ads will just get blasted off, because they can be really annoying. And unless you have a ton of cleave damage, they are just going to live forever. So try and get some extra AoE on those using my Skull Bash, which actually dashes you to a target to go over there, just so that I still have my charge for the cart when that comes out. So we're looking around for this cart. We know it's coming out soon. So we are kind of expecting those underhanded tactics. We get Luring Candleflame, and this boss should go pretty quickly. Again, underhanded tactics comes out. We're actually right next to the cart, so this should be really good. Drop my Lunar Beam on it, and we will just start AoEing these ads. I start getting a ton of stacks here too. I'm at 30 stacks from the ads. They put that damage over time effect on you, which is no good, and people start dropping in very, very scary ways here. We actually bricked the key. We bricked the 14 right before this 13 with a different group on this boss, just because people were just getting worked by these laborers. So if you have some extra cleave, good time to use it. We commit boss here because the cart has about the same health as the boss, and we should be good to go. So get that first boss taken care of, no big deal. And we'll move on to the second part of the dungeon. Still really, really good on time. Still feeling pretty strong. And this is where we will do this triple pull, because this triple pull is pretty okay to do. I don't think there's any big issues with it. There's just a bunch of task workers in it. So as long as you're not standing in these little circles, you should be fine. So just don't stand in the bonks. We'll need to move back just a touch, but pull doesn't really do a whole lot. We just have to worry about this Wandering Candle. He will do some burst AoE, and then try and kick these two Blazing Fiends. But only having 2 kicks in a pull and then all these task workers is really no big deal. So we'll just sit here and we will take this pull out, and then we will be looking to do those 2 Wandering Candles over on the far side over there, making sure to desync those when they pull, just to make sure that we don't get 2 of these AoEs at the same time. So these task workers go down really quickly. Pull dies roughly the same time. So I usually like to Moonfire this, start dotting it up, do a little 4 count, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pull the second one. So we'll get the first candle to use the Quenching Blast, and then the second candle should use it right as everyone's getting topped up from that first one. You can eat 2 of them. I probably just wouldn't recommend it, especially if you plan on going any hierarchies in this. If you're going hierarchies in this, you probably don't even need to listen to what I have to say, though. But hey, we're just trying to help out, share my experience. It's all good. So yeah, we'll take out this pull and go into my least favorite boss. It was actually a really cool boss the first time I did it. I really enjoyed doing Blaziken. I'm gonna call him Blaziken because great Pokemon, GOAT Pokemon, one of the GOAT Pokemon. But yeah, I used to like this boss a lot in lower keys, and now it just feels a little bit rough. So I click on some people's frames just to make sure they have buffs, because I don't know, I thought just for some reason that people weren't buffed. So that's why I did that there. I'm also calling out to just my rogue to be careful on aggro, just because I don't have the best threat on these guys. I'm kind of Moonfiring, getting the far ones in. And we get a nice pull in here. We're trying to just kick these Blazing Fiends as much as humanly possible. I throw down an Ursul's, and when they're going to cast again, I still have that Ursul's up. So I think I'm going to try and Typhoon here. I don't really remember if I actually do it, but goes okay. The Fiends stop casting for the most part. They'll cast again here. We'll take a ton of damage. And I'm definitely late on the in-cap roar. Didn't even in-cap roar that pull, but we're able to still survive. Really, really scary Explosive Flame and the Quenching Blast as well. Miraculously, nobody dies, and I could have played significantly better there, but that's okay. And then we call for the healer to blow out the candle, because you only want to blow out 1 candle in this fight. So we'll get the Wicker Lighter Barrage. Warrior doesn't light any candles here. He just kind of like sits on me on the boss, which I think it ends up being okay, but usually you want to light as many candles as you can, or at least 1 more than we did here, but that is okay. And then we have the healer standing over there. He's perfectly lined up for that candle on the far side, so we should have that one blown out, but I do think someone blows out one behind me, so we'll have 2 candles blown out here. Going to take a good amount of damage. We'll fast forward through this fight just because it's going to be a long, kind of boring single target thing, and we will keep on moving. Yeah, I think that's, if you get past that part, I think this next bit is like the easier part of the dungeon, to be honest, even though it's the problem that the issue that we have the most with in this dungeon. So and then I try and Ursul's and Typhoon to get a pixel stack, and it just doesn't super work. This room is just annoying. I've seen some people line of sight it around the corner or just run through or something like that, but I think you honestly save more time just by running in here, using kicks as much as you can, and just taking it out. So we also bloodlusted the end of that last boss, which I don't think was super necessary. We end up losing 2 people towards the end of that boss just to rot damage. Just the damage over time effect just ends up killing people. So I think they kind of just panic lusted, but we didn't get a whole lot of value out of that. We could have definitely lusted this pack just to make it go faster, or we could have lusted this next boss because he can be a bit of a healer check too. So I'm trying to move these mobs away from these little volcanoes, these candle volcanoes here. And there's really not much you need to know. Just kicks at Snout, focusing him to make sure that we don't have to deal with if Torch Snarl headlocks people, that Soot Snout isn't going to just blast the crap out of them, causing the healer some grief. But yeah, these mobs take a while as well. They both have hundreds of millions of HP. So finally take those out, and we get into Candle King. With the kind of full melee comp here with the Monk, Warrior, Rogue, and me all in melee, we want to make sure that we are getting some good uptime on the boss here. So going to try and keep the boss near melee as much as humanly possible. Just making sure. So standing close to the clone, so the Warrior is still able to hit. Hunter goes to the far one that wouldn't be able to hit, and the Monk and the Rogue are standing there as well. So good thing there. We drop the new clones, and I want to again try and stand around these, making sure that people are able to do that. I'm like, haven't gotten the Darkflame pickaxe on me, but if you get that, stand behind one of the clones. So I go to one of the further ones. Our Hunter actually turtles here, and it goes to soak the one that's actually in the pool, so that was pretty good. We are able to take out all of those, and I try and get a bigger move here, but he ends up just casting everything before I'm actually able to. So again, standing between these clones, making sure not to touch those because you will get stunned. And then we have the Warrior getting the pickaxe. So he does what he's supposed to do. And again, we will have someone soaking all of these. I think we have someone move last second to soak the one on the left here. End up getting all of those again. And I could be moving a lot more during this, but it just feels like he summons those the wax statues kind of where he wants to some degree. So I don't know if there's a way to bait that, but it is okay. Ends up working out. And again, we have our DPS with basically full uptime. Hunter standing in range, making sure to get that last clone that is in range, while the melee are just wailing on the ones in melee. So get a better move here. Everything is behind him. And then the Rogue actually calls for me to try and move him. I don't have that much space here. He wants to just killing spree without getting stunned. So making sure to move him just a bit. But, and then we lose a little bit of uptime here just because these are pretty bad. Monk uses Cocoon and goes into the wax. And this boss should go down. Nothing too crazy on that one. Take out the boss and get this first pull. We start off the minecart and we get all these non-elites. No big deal here. Yeah, easy peasy. Easy start to this little gauntlet here. Go and grab a candle, refresh that. And you pretty much need everything in this room. So I'm just doing my best to moonfire things, bring it into the light. You can't fight anything outside the light. So, and what I like to do is tank everything on one side of this cart, so that when we kill these skittering darknesses and they pop their little explosion thing on the ground, it will buff this corridor creeper. As you can see, the corridor creeper doesn't have any stacks in the bottom of their nameplate. So that is something you want to keep in mind. This thing is very, very easy if it doesn't get any stacks. So yeah, just going to take this out. We need to refill the light on the candle. So this will, we'll just see which way this ends up going. Goes to the left. And unfortunately, it will stop when you pull stuff to let you fight. So really no way around this. It's just a little bit of a time sink, but we go right on through here. And I'm just making sure that we are good on count. making sure that we get what we need to do, even though I think we're pretty overcount at this point. And this pull gets pretty dicey. We end up getting like a really bad reset, and I just get popped here. So yeah, we're trying to again tank on one side of the cart, move to the other, and I'm just getting absolutely blasted by these corridor creepers. I don't have any frenzied regens. I don't have any cooldowns. Yeah, I don't know what I just did there. That was just really bad. I also think I just hit the wrong button or something and get out of bear form. I think I was probably dead anyway, but yeah, and then we're still in combat. So our rogue is actually still fighting, which is not great. It would have been great to just like fully reset. And the monk is actually running up forward, and the rogue still has combat, and he's just running back to us. But we don't have any light to fight in. So I just run up, I die. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm like, just die. Literally anyone that's in combat, just die. Just die. Let's get these reset. It doesn't even matter. So I call for the death, and we kill like 3 of these skittering darknesses outside back in the 3rd boss room. I don't know what we're doing here. And then we take the teleporter that's right next to the cart, teleport back to the cart, and we instantly pull everything, almost lose someone else. And yeah, and the warrior gets stuck behind because we instantly pull, and he's immediately in combat, so we can't take the torch to teleport to the cart. So bad cooldown usage on my part, and then we just get the messiest reset ever. We're up to 10 deaths on this key. Like I said before, not a flawless run or anything, but this timer is super generous. So we'll do the little cart thing. We'll do the little gauntlet. We'll throw the dynamite. All you need to do is get him to 90. So at this point, he's at 86. I'm like, yeah. Throw a couple more dynamites, then don't need to worry about it. So coming through here, we will shake off the stun, make sure everyone's rebuffed, and then pull all these corridor creepers with these skittering darknesses just to get over to the boss. We'll pop renew and barkskin to make sure we live the gather. And yeah, we'll just kill this pull. We somehow pulled the skittering darkness and the corridor creeper from over there. Not really sure how that got pulled, but whatever. We have plenty of space to drag these corridor creepers. And again, as you saw, they had stacks. We moved them out of those existing bodies, and they've lost all their stacks too. So going right into the last boss, we'll take out these corridor creepers. We're going to be overcount here too, but still 5 minutes on the clock with Bloodlust to kill this last boss. And we have lost a ton of time just with deaths here. So we've lost, 150 seconds. Which with just deaths, and we are still going to time this. So if you're looking for an easier key to kind of limit test to see how much damage you'll take, or that sort of thing, definitely try out Darkflame Cleft if you end up having one. The timer is pretty generous, and I don't think our damage was anything crazy this key as well. So as you'll see by the overall at the end, we don't have any monstrous pumpers. Could have done this faster. Luckily, we get the nice dunk on the candle there last second, so we don't get any Rising Gloom stacks. When that candle fully goes out, you will get a stack of Rising Gloom. Decreases your haste, increases your damage taken. It's just bad news bears all around. So we'll get the Umbral Slash. I like to just do this as the tank because then I can move this. Unfortunately, I take it away from that warrior. He goes right. The rest of us go left, but that's okay. So move the candle, and then we are looking for the next mechanic. Warrior goes out kind of early. Doesn't really need to go out at that point in time, but it's okay. Usually I have people go out when they get the Shadow Blast because you have to get out anyway. Might as well get out, grab a candle, come back in, dunk. That seems like a better way to do it. But yeah, and then we get Umbral Slash again, pick up the candle, move it to the left. Just be consistent with that. Especially if you're in pugs, people will kind of learn as they go to some degree. So yeah, just doing this. And then we have 2 people go out and get a candle. We get Eternal Darkness. We have 1 person dunk. Eternal Darkness goes in. We dunk again. And the candle should be chilling at 30%. Someone gets the Shadow Blast here. So they should be going out and getting another candle. We come back in. We dunk twice, actually, because the warrior jumps out. Pick this up. Again, we go to the left. Warrior goes to the right, but that's okay. And yeah, and we are just doing this boss, waiting for that sweet 55% where he's going to die. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's any content that you want to see me specifically do in WoW, I'm just going to kind of be uploading keys, kind of my journey to 3K. It'll be the first time I've actually gotten 3K in a season, so we're going to try and get that soon enough. We're going to try and get it on the Guardian Druid, the Prop Paladin, and the Enhanced Shaman at the very least. So stay tuned for that. I actually go right here like a moron. I've conditioned everybody and not gone that. But yeah, if there's anything you want to see from the channel, I will come back with the Marvel spectating videos soon too. I was just a little bit away for the last couple of days, so couldn't get anything uploaded. So yeah, but we beat the timer. We only one chested 48 IO right in the bag. And yeah, so hope you guys liked the video. Again, like it if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.